Hi, Mark here, trust you're well, and welcome to this live Lightroom Skills Session. Most weeks I host this about half an hour skills session where we look at a particular task and how you can do things. This week we're looking at emailing our images. And a lot of people aren't aware that you can email directly within Lightroom Classic, instead of exporting your images onto perhaps your desktop, then opening up your email client or a web browser, then attaching them to an email. Well, all that functionality is in Lightroom Classic. So enough of me rabbiting. Let's join the recording. But if you'd like to come and join some of these sessions, just visit my website, lightroommark.com. So without any further ado, let's jump across to the recording. Bye for now. Evening, everybody. This week in this skills session, we're going to look at emailing images. And a lot of people aren't aware that you can actually email directly within Lightroom Classic. So I'll show you the way most people are probably doing it now, and then I'll show you how you can do it within Classic. So let's share screen. Okay, so I want to email this photograph to a friend. So most people will go File, Export. They will export it to their hard drive. So let's just put it onto the desktop, and let's just resize it to 1000 pixels. And we're just going to export that one image. And there we go. That's exported that. So there it is there. One picture on the desktop. And what most people will do will now go to an email client, go compose, send and write an email. Here's the photo. And then we'll go attach, go and find the image. There it is. Attach it, and then send it. And there we go. There's the image come back into me. And that's what most people will do. But there's lots of actions there. So let's just delete that for a second. So no emails in my inbox. And let's now go back to Classic. So, as I say, one of my learning styles is think about where you want to get to. What do you want to do? Rather than looking at the beginning, look at the end. So we want to email these 3 pictures at particular sizes. As most of you know, I love presets. So what we'll do is we'll go up to the export and we'll create some presets. And you can actually see I've got 2 already here under the emailing folder. So we change this drop down at the top to export to email. And that reduces the options that we have here. So file name, video, file settings, so quality 100%, sRGB is the color space, just the normal export workflow. Longest edge, I'm going to make this 2000 pixels. And when we're sending emails, they only need to be really low res, 72 dots per inch. We can send high res emails. However, you'll be sending multiple emails because most email clients have, or inboxes have, a sending and receiving limit. Depending on your service, depending if you're paying, it might be 5 meg, 25 meg, 50 meg. That's most services. There will be exceptions. And if you have your own server, you'll have an exception. So we're going to export an image 2000 pixels. Do I want any output sharpening? Well, for screen, standard. Do I want to include any metadata? All standard questions that are within our export functionality. Do I want to add a watermark? Now, I'm thinking ahead. This is a 2000 pixel, and if I clicked export, it would export a 2000 pixel. But what I want to do is save this as a preset. And as we've talked about in the past, how do you save as a preset? You go add, down the bottom left-hand corner, up comes the preset, and we're going to call it email 2000 pixels. And that's important because, as you can see, I've got other presets and they're different sizes. And I'm going to put it into the folder to make it all nice and neat and tidy, called emailing. If you wanted to create a new folder, that's no problem. Just click on new folder, type the name in, and away you go. So that preset is now going to save along with the other presets. And I've made it nice, simple, nice and easy in a folder called emailing. So now I'm going to come out of that. I'm not going to send anything, not going to export anything at this moment. I've just created a template for the size of the image that I'm going to email. That's all I've done. So how do we email an image from Classic? It's quite easy. We go right click and we come all the way down to the bottom and there's email photo. And a lot of people don't realize there's an email client, an email sending program in Classic. And this is it. And we've got two, which is where we put where we're sending it. We got CC, BCC. So CC, if people don't know, carbon copy. So you can add a second person, third person as a reference, or I'm letting you know what I'm saying to John, and so on. We've got a BCC, which is blind carbon copy. You're not letting the first person, the two, know who's going to, you're sending them a copy. So you're sending perhaps something to a friend and you want their wife to see it as well, but your friend not to know. Okay, so that's what BCC is. Then we got address book. So, and we have to add these manually. There isn't an import method, but we've got group. You can have a group, so you can have families and photo clubs and things like that. And all we do is we hit new address, we type in the name, we type in the email address. So Lightroom Mark and Lightroom mark@gmail.com. And there I am in my box. Let's get on that. So there I am in my address book. I can edit it, I can delete it, I can add it to a group, press OK. So we've got a lot of the functionality of an email client. We've got subject bar, and then we've got this from, and this is the important bit. And because I'm on a Mac, it's defaulted as Apple Mac, but I don't use Apple Mail at all. So we click on it, and there is an email account manager. Now, this will vary for your email service, the information that you need here. And some email clients no longer support third-party applications. What does that mean? There are protocols to send and receive emails. And I'm just going to say Gmail, because we all know what Gmail is, or AOL or Yahoo. They have closed the door to other organizations, Adobe, using their services. In the early days of the internet, everyone could use everything. But companies were saying, well, you're using my services, but I'm paying the bill, but you're not paying me any money. So they've closed that door. So depending on your email provider, the settings will either be available or not, or you won't be able to use their services with a third party if you're on a free platform, for example. So if you're on Gmail free, they might not allow you to use your Gmail services. But if you've got Gmail paid services like their workspace, like I have, I can do this from my Gmail account. So all depends on your settings, your service providers, who you send emails through. Now, I'm fortunate, I have my own server. So I've set up today for this purposes a blank dummy email address, and I'm just going to type in my details. So I've got my server address. So we're going to go add, and I'm going to add the name. So I'm just going to call this test. It's the name of the account. And you can see there's already some presets in here. So Gmail, Outlook, Yahoo Mail, they're already in there. Depending on your service agreement with these service providers, they'll allow you to use them. But if you've got your own server, your own mail client, perhaps you've got a website or something like that, you'll be able to put your settings in there with your domain name and send the emails. So we go other, I'm going to press OK. And now I'm going to type in this information. So there's my server. So 202502.uk. I need a port. What a port is like a pigeonhole. And it's called 993 in my case, I believe. I'm going to tell it that I'm going to use an SSL secure certificate. So it's going to encrypt the email that I'm going to send. I'm going to use password protection or authentication. And now I'm going to type my email address in and now my password. And then I have to validate. Bingo. So we've got our domain, we've got our port. So I'm looking in the wrong window. So it's 995, or I started with 993 IMAP. Okay. And then I looked it up and it's wrong. It's 995. It wasn't accepting it. So I've done it on 465. That's the window number. It's a little bit complicated, but it's just getting the right settings. And then security, password, email address, and my password for my email address. So now I can send this. So I'm going to send it to myself. There's a test in the subject line. It goes from there. Test. There's the image and go send. Look, top left-hand corner, it's sending the image. Come down. Let's go to Gmail. And there it is. There's the image. Sent it to myself. So, and I'm going to delete it. There's nothing in my inbox. So let's go back. Classic. And now I'm going to send all three images. So this is my active image. And I've selected the other two images. Go right click. Email photos. There they all are at the bottom. What size do I want to send them? Email 1000. I'm going to send them to myself. Okay. And so it's test 2. Okay. Hello, test 2. Okay. Send. If we look top left-hand corner, preparing the email, sending the email, message sent. You got popped up there. Now I'll go back to Classic. Sorry, to Lightroom. All right. There we go. Saw it come in. And there's images. Now, the great thing about doing that is that you haven't got loads of exported files. Yeah, you normally go file, export, you put them on your desktop and they're sitting there in a folder, sitting there ages. Classic will make that file, will email it and get rid of it. So you haven't got a load of temporary files, email pictures. And there we go. Anyone got any questions about that?
No, thank you.
So it depends on your service provider, who you send your emails to. You might need to set up a second email service or something like that. But it depends on how much you're going to use it. I use it in my main catalog. I use it a hell of a lot. I've got an address book which has got multiple email addresses in there for family. And because they're older than me, They don't want to click on links and look at a web page. They want it nice and simple. My word, simple. They just want an email with a picture on it. Yeah. Yeah, my in-laws and so on, etc. Yeah, I don't want to. Oh, you got to click here and log in and this and no. Don't want to complicate it. Keep it simple. And that's what I do. I just sit and go right click, boom. There's 4 pictures. There's 8 email addresses. Boom, it just sends them all. That's it. And I write a little note. Here's your grandchildren. Or here's da 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 da. And we were at Disneyland Paris, age this, age that, and so on, as I've gone through legacy images. And it's so easy to do. Yeah. Or perhaps you're a photo club. You know, you're going to enter a competition. You have a preset for the size for the competition. They might want 10 by 8s. So in the export, you actually, rather than put in 2000 pixels, you do 10 inches by 8 inches at 300 dots per inch or 72 dots per inch if they're going to print them or not. And that's your preset. And then you just email them in. And they ask for the photographs by email. Simple. Absolutely simple. But you can't do it from Lightroom. You have to use your email client. You can send an invite from Lightroom to look at a web gallery or a web album. But you can't send a private note or anything like that like you can in Classic. Anyone, any questions? No?
Thank you.
Right, no problem. Well,
I do have one question.
Yes, Joe.
You're going to have to enter each email by hand. You can't link it to your contact list and load it in that way.
So you would have to add an address list by hand, manually add them.
Right.
Okay. So
you build it up over time.
yeah, you'd build it up over time. So if I just show you again, so this bit here, the address bit here, you would build this up over time. So rather than typing in here and just type in the email address once, what you would do is you'd go new, type in the person's name, type in the email address, and go OK. And now it's in the email address. So next time you go up here and type the person's name, like I did with me, it appears.
Right.
Okay. There isn't that I'm aware of. Please somebody tell me, because I've got 2,500 email addresses. To import your address book, you can't do that. Okay.
Yep. Thanks.
Yeah, so it's just because Classic was not originally designed to send emails.
But that's like, retailers like UPS, you build your address list up over time.
Yeah.
So it's similar to retailers too. Yeah.
And then you would send it, but you would reply to their reply via your email client, not in Classic. It's not an inbox, it's a sending program.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
So where if you used a secondary service, so if they hit reply, it would go into the inbox that you sent it from. So for example, this server that I've just set up, this domain and email address I've just set up, if they reply to that email, it will go to email 202501.uk. Okay. But I don't monitor that inbox. Yeah. So you'd either put what they call an auto reply on that inbox to say, this is a not monitored inbox, please send your email to boom. Or on that mailbox, you would put a forwarding and forward it to your primary email address. So you would get it.
Right.
Yeah. Or you set up an email address, no reply.
Right.
Yeah, so when people get it, it says no reply across the top or unmonitored or something like that. It's a sending facility.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
but it only
Yeah.
applies if you can't set it up on your primary email address.
Right.
And that's personal down to whatever you're using. But it works with Outlook, it works with legacy Gmail, it works with paid Gmail, it works with other services. But it's, the internet's come along and got everyone on it and everyone for free. And now we rely on it so much, we have to pay for it.
Right.
So that's life. All
Yeah.
costs money. Like Adobe's gone up and so on, etc. Okay, well, Monday we're looking second part of the print module, which is merging our IPTC data. So, for example, doing a print and taking the information from the IPTC, so description, headline, and text, and so on. We're taking all that info, file name, that information from the library module, and printing it on a print. And we'll also be looking at multiple prints on a page. So if you've got an A3 printer, for example, and you want to print two 10 by 8s on there, which will be a lot cheaper than printing two 10 by 8s, showing you how you can set those two up. Okay. And then
Yeah.
after that, we're on to the library module. In my opinion, the most important module. Lovely to see you all.
Could you possibly send me last Wednesdays about organising, please, because I missed it.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you very much.
It's on YouTube, but yeah, I'll
is it?
send that for you.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. Thanks.
Okay. Take care. All the best. Nice to see you.
Bye.
Bye.